Hey everyone, it's Wendy. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be making a buffalo check "We Believe" sign for either outdoors or indoors. I started with about a 45-inch piece of 1x6 and just sanded it down real good. And after I was done, I wiped off all the dust. And then I just gave it a good coat of white paint. This is some paint that I use almost for everything just because I have it on hand. But it's a good coverage, and you see I'm doing two different pieces, but I'm actually going to only show you one. The second piece of wood, I did some shades of gray, and it turned out pretty good too, but we're just going to be doing the black and white one today. Get your paint down as flat as you can. It's supposed to be a little rustic, so it doesn't matter if you see some wood tones or wood grain showing through, so just gives it more character. Now I'm going to start in the middle with the painter's tape and make some stripes, and then use small pieces of tape to make my stripes even, the same distance apart. And instead of using a full long piece to go through the middle stripe, I just used little ones. I used 3 just so I didn't have to waste so much tape. And then make sure you push those down pretty well. And then you're going to start with your gray, which is actually from a room I painted. So that was just, I happened to have it, so I used it. And it was a lot easier just to use a roller, made it go by pretty quickly. And I want to make sure that I get my sides, the edges done. So I've got both of those painted. I did 2 coats, so you have to wait till the first coat dries completely, and then come back and do the second coat. But I don't know why, but I love pulling tape off, and I don't know, it just makes me happy. So these lines turned out really crisp and really straight, and so I was really happy with the results. And then I'm going to show you the second one. Now I just wanted to watch it again. So now you're going to put your horizontal lines and just go straight across using that spacer and go all the way down the length of the board. So once you get to the end, if you come out crooked and it doesn't line up exactly with the straightness of the bottom edge, you can just adjust for it. I wasn't all the way off, but it was just a little bit, and that'll be at the bottom, so I was able to correct that. So then I'm pushing down to make sure that there will be no seepage or bleeding, and then I'm going to do another coat with the gray, but I'm going to lighten it up a little bit with the white so that I get a lighter shade of the gray. And then I'm going to roll that onto that as well. So I started just slapping the paint on, and I realized I was going against the tape. And so in order to make sure that there's no bleeding, you really need to go in the same direction that the tape is going so that it doesn't accidentally slip under if I didn't press something down hard enough, or if there's a rogue bristle or something that slides under it. But anyway, it didn't do that, so I was good. So then finally you're gonna put your tape on the white spot that you originally did your first stripes on, and you just have to kind of follow along. You can still see through it. I didn't take my time on this as much as I should have, because you'll see in the end it's a little bit off, but learn from my mistake and make sure you get it right on the line. So then now I didn't have any black paint, so I just had black spray paint, which was kind of cool because it came out really well and had a good coverage. I don't like to go outside to paint, but I did. And so I got it all covered, and it actually didn't take too long. It was 2 coats, but it was a real good coverage. And then I was so excited to do this part because it's tape pulling time. And as you can see, it is coming out so pretty. I loved it. And you know, I wasn't really too worried about how it was a little bit crooked and I didn't have that last step lined up perfectly, but it kind of looks like it's covered by material or something. But I thought it looked good. And there it is, you can kind of see the mess up. But then I went to my Cameo 3 and I used the Dollar Tree contact paper. It was a little thin, so it kind of went through in some places. It might have been because I had the wrong setting, and I just got it, so I'm not all the way familiar with it. But I just cut the contact paper to fit the size of the board, and then I had my transfer paper and scissors and my weeding tool. And I'm doing this with one hand, so normally I would use 2 if I wasn't recording. But there it is, all the way done and all the way weeded. And so I just had to take the backing off and put it onto my painted board, which is a lot easier to do when you have a tripod. So once I got it on there, I just pushed it down after I figured out where I wanted it on the board, and then just started painting with a foam brush from Dollar Tree and this glittery folk art paint that actually it dries clear. It goes on like pretty milky, but then just the glitter remains wherever you painted. So I really liked the look, but I had to do it quite a few times so that you could even see it, because it's, you know, it's glitter. And I wanted a pretty solid finish so you could read the words, and if you do put it outside, you can read it from the street. So after I got done, I wanted to give it some more definition, and I just used a regular Sharpie and started outlining the letters. And this was pretty easy because there's a little slight lip from the paint that you can actually guide your pen with, so you get really straight lines. And then at the top, I measured to figure out where I was going to put the "we," and I knew I wanted to leave room for a bow at the top. And so I went to my Cameo 3 and figured out what font I wanted to use. And there's so many. I don't even have any of the personal or custom fonts. I haven't even had a chance to download them, but I'm still learning the machine itself. But once I found one, it was really easy to adjust for the size, and then I cut it out in a black, because it doesn't matter, it's just a stencil. So I just used some scrap paper or scrap vinyl and then fed it through my Cameo. And then once it was done, I unloaded and pulled it off of the mat. And then I always make sure, because I used to have a Cricut, I still have a Cricut, but now I've transitioned over to the Cameo 3. Make sure you always put that protective cover back on to your mat. So then I couldn't find my white paint, and I had this puffy paint. It's a 3D, it's more for t-shirts and things like that, but I just used it anyway. And then it wasn't exactly what I was looking for, so I went to my Old Faithful Benjamin Moore flat white paint and then just went over it with the makeup sponge. And then I added extra tape on the sides so I wouldn't go over, and then just pulled that off. And I think I waited till it was dry, or semi-dry anyway. and then I had to weed out the inside of the E, and then it was done. After I added a bow, of course, and a little bit of gold skinny ribbon to coordinate with the gold glitter. But I love it. I think it turned out really well. It's actually for a client whose house I'm decorating for Christmas this year. But in the meantime, until I do, I get to enjoy it myself. Now, I had gotten this idea originally from Shannon over at the Daily DIYer, and so I'm going to try and link her channel and that video to the description box below if I can figure it out. But everything she does is awesome, and she's my huge inspiration for everything that I do and the style. I just love her. So if you like this video, I hope you will give it a thumbs up and subscribe so we can grow this channel. And I hope everybody has a blessed day. Thanks, guys.